I posted a video a week on YouTube for the last 6 months, and here are 10 things I learned in the last 6 months about YouTube and content creation. Number one, it's definitely a skill. And I say that because I see channels that blow up with 1 or 2 or 3 videos. I also see channels that have hundreds of videos get no views and no subscribers. I also see channels with hundred of videos of the same format, and then on the 200th video of the same format, the channel blows up. And so by calling YouTube a skill, what I mean is video creation is a skill, right? Like finding an idea, a title, hook, thumbnail, you know the gist, video editing, all of that is a skill, but resilience and consistency is also a skill. And so both of those things, when combined, will definitely grow a YouTube channel. It's just that in the beginning, most people don't have both. Why? You definitely don't have the skill of cinematography and like making good videos because you're just beginning. You have no idea what to do. And because you're a beginner, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, I'm just going to test the waters. Maybe I'll post a video a week, like what I did. And so your quantity isn't there, like your volume isn't there, and volume negates luck. Like that's something that I've learned that I'll go over as well. And so the second thing that I want to go over is that YouTube isn't the business. A lot of young people, when you ask them today, and you ask them, what do you want to be when you grow up? They say YouTuber. And they say that thinking that they can make tons of money on YouTube and that YouTube is a business. YouTube is a business, but it's a business for Google and Alphabet, not necessarily you. And so the people that actually make a lot of money on YouTube don't treat YouTube as a business. They treat YouTube as marketing for their business. And so that's something that I learned, is that there are two distinct ways of doing YouTube. You do YouTube, number one, for your business. It's marketing for the business. Or number two, there are what we call career YouTubers that just have a ton of, let's say, faceless YouTube channels, and that's their thing. Like making ad revenue and affiliate marketing is their thing. And I'd much rather prefer the first one. For some reason, that's something that I gravitate towards. If YouTube ceased to exist tomorrow, I would probably have to figure out a different channel to post on. That's all. Number three, let's go back to the volume versus quality discussion. And so extremes exist on both ends, right? On one end, you have channels like Profound Ponderings that uploads 3-4 times a week, and it's literally just a guy talking in front of a camera about personal development. On the other end, you have people like Mark Rober that uploads like once every few months, but then that video gets a ton of views, like millions of views. And so what that proves is both models work. There are channels that are very cinematographic, and then there are channels that are just like me talking to the camera. And there are channels that have high production value, that have crazy edits, and then there are channels that are more lax, like mine right now. So quality is subjective. And so the whole point is to figure out what you jive with and what aligns with your lifestyle and your preferences. Am I saying that one way of doing things is better than the other? No. I'm just saying that YouTube has now gotten such a wide user base that like there's something for everyone to watch, and not everyone likes the crazy high production value cut things that Mr. Beast does. Especially not when you're just trying to have a conversation like me. So that leads me to number 4, right? Quality is subjective. And before you disagree and you're like, but isn't it objectively better that you have a hook in your YouTube videos? Well, like if you look at Emma Chamberlain videos, like a lot of her videos, first 30 seconds is just cuts of random scenery, and you actually have no idea what she's going to talk about. You're just waiting. And so like Emma Chamberlain just by a magnetic personality gets people to watch her videos. But then there are the majority of informational YouTubers that go over like, here's what I'm going to talk about in this video, and here's why you should listen, and here's why you should listen to me, right? And I kind of fall into that category just because I've watched so many people give that piece of advice. But I also, at the same time, feel like I shouldn't be following that advice, because then I would be like moving myself towards the norm. And like the definition of being average is that I am average and I get average results, and I don't want average results. But nor do I want results in the other direction. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, quality is subjective. And so you might have a preconceived conception of what good quality YouTube videos look like. And chances are there are also a bunch of people that have the same notions as you, and maybe that's the group of people you attract, and that's okay. But what I actually mean by that is that if quality is subjective, then that should be a license for you to try different things. That's all. Number 5, don't ignore shorts. I think as a new YouTuber, you never know when a video might blow up or not. Like, you don't have that understanding yet. And I've had so many videos where I post like an 8-minute video on a topic that I think will blow up, and then it gets 20 views. But then I cut up clips of that video and post it as a short, and then that gets like 500 to like a few thousand views. And as a new small YouTuber that isn't monetized, those shorts actually add watch time to your channel. And so I wouldn't ignore shorts. Like, it's so easy to just go on a website and have that AI website cut up your long form videos into short form clips. And so that's the 5th lesson. The 6th lesson, you don't know your audience. Like, you think you do, right? Like the first thing that any YouTube guru tells you is to define your target audience and customer avatar. I did that, but when I looked at my most viewed video and my most commented on video, there were people that watched that video that I would have never dreamed of would watch that video. And so you should be updating your understanding of your audience as you make more videos. A customer avatar and a target audience avatar is helpful because it's a North Star. It gives you a direction. But as you move towards that direction, you'll find out, and you might be surprised by the people who actually watch your videos. And that information should inform the future videos that you make if you want to build a meaningful audience. I believe that. But at the same time, if in the beginning you're just trying different videos and there are videos that you've tried and you realize that's not a direction you want to go in, it's okay. Just make something else. Like, I made the video on 3 reasons why I wanted to leave Canada, and then I realized that that's not the direction I want the channel to grow in. And so I'm making less of those videos, and I'm okay with them getting less views for now. Number 7, the Pareto principle. The 80-20 rule. Like, 20% of your inputs produce 80% of your outputs. And for YouTube, I think what I've learned over the last 6 months is that the most important thing is the idea. Like, the video idea is the most important because it dictates everything else. And then it's the thumbnail and title, which I should spend more time on. I'm totally guilty of that, and maybe that's something I'll focus on in the future. The hook, the first 30 seconds, and all the YouTube gurus tell you that like there's a specific format that works as the hook. I'm beginning to think that a hook can be so many different things. And then the video content is the next most important thing. And then finally, it's the editing. And so I don't think editing is that important. Like, good editing makes a difference, don't get me wrong, but if everything else isn't in place, the editing isn't gonna make or break the video. Like, what will make the video or break the video is everything I mentioned before. But when you think about the time that gets spent on making a YouTube video, most people are like, oh, that's a good idea. They just slap a photo of their face on as a thumbnail. I'm guilty of that. Add a few words and then make the video, and most of the time is spent on editing, which makes no sense if it's the least important in my experience. Number 8, okay, the 8th lesson is that you are the actual X factor and that there's no need to copy. YouTube is a creative platform. As we watch our favorite YouTubers, it's so easy to be like, I want to be like them. But the reality is you are unique. And so you should be like you. And you should attract the people that you attract. And your wife or husband doesn't love you because you're like someone else. They love you because you are you. And so the same goes for YouTube. You just kind of need to do more of you. But our insecurity oftentimes prevents us from doing that. We think that when we look at someone else's success, we think that emulating their success will help us attain their level of success. When in reality, there is no way for us to perfectly emulate their level of production or success. One, because we don't have their context. And two, because we're not them. So even if we do the exact same thing as them, we are not them. And I think that means two things. Number one, there's no point in copying other people like word for word. And number two, you can copy other people's ideas as long as you have your own unique perspective on that. The ninth thing that I want to share is the idea that equipment isn't required. For the longest time, I was like, I need a good camera, I need good editing software, I need lighting, I need like a good background to start a YouTube channel. But I realized I didn't have the money for all of that. And so eventually I was like, you know what? If I had an iPhone, if I just had an iPhone, then it would be good enough for me to start making YouTube videos. And now that I have an iPhone, I bought the iPhone because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make YouTube videos with it, and that kind of justifies the price tag. Now that I have an iPhone, I realized that I probably could have made YouTube videos with my Android phone from before. The camera, like, sure, people say it's better, but like, it's not life-changingly better, right? Like, so equipment isn't actually required. And people have grown audiences on YouTube with a webcam. And so if you're watching this video on your phone, you have the means to start a channel. Oh, but like I need the perfectly quiet environments. And at home, my parents is always talking and my dog is always barking. Well, no, you don't. You don't. Just start. Nothing needs to be perfect. Which brings me to my final thing that I learned. And it's a lesson on time horizon. Like if something is worth building, and I do believe that YouTube channels as a part of a business that you will build to maybe even retire your family and give them the life they deserve. If that's your goal and it takes 10 years, 20 years, it's still gonna be worth it. Like the only reason why this wouldn't be worth it is if you had a short time horizon. Like if you wanted to blow up in the next 6 months, then this probably isn't worth it because that probably won't happen for the majority of people. But if your time horizon is 10 years, if you're like, I'll give this 10 years, and for the next 10 years, I'm going to try to improve my videos, I'm gonna try different things, and if I get the results that I want and I grow an audience, sure, I'd love that. But if I don't, then at least I'd have no regrets for trying to build something meaningful so I can give the people I love the life they deserve. And so if that is you, like if you want to build something meaningful, like a YouTube channel, a business online, if you know in the back of your mind that that is kind of your ticket out of the current life that you have, then I urge you to subscribe to this channel because that's exactly what I'm doing. And I don't know how long it will take, but I know that I am directionally correct, and given enough time, I will get there. And I want you to see me make that happen so that one day you can too.